welcome back to my channel, Texas Gal Treasures. In today's video, I am sharing some more items that have sold lately within the last week on eBay. One of these items is something that the last time I checked last night, it had sold well over 200 items of this particular brand. So I wanted to make sure that it was something that you knew to be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. So as I am revamping my business after a move, I am really trying to hone in on what is selling right now on eBay. And so I've been going deep and looking into the research and seeing what kind of patterns are emerging and what kinds of things, whether specific categories, specific brands, that I can be looking for when I'm out thrifting. Generally, a lot of the things I sell are vintage housewares and jewelry, and I am slowly getting into a few clothing categories, but overall, most of the things I sell are vintage or hard goods, things of that nature. The ways I have been going about looking to see what is selling is I'm looking at Google Trends, and from Google Trends, I'm seeing what are the breakout categories, whether in the last 30 days, and then I narrow it down to the last 7 days, because technically, if I look at the last 30 days, that still falls a little before Christmas, which I think skews certain areas depending on what the item is that's selling. So I definitely also look at the last 7 days to see if it's something that's still a breakout category. And then I'll take a look with those search terms on eBay and also using Terapeak, which I believe you have to have an eBay store to have access to the research tab for Terapeak. But if I'm incorrect about that, please leave me a comment. One of the things that I noticed was selling repeatedly were kitchen canister sets. And based on the research I've done, I looked into what was trending in home designs going forward in 2024. And what it appears to be is that a lot of people are moving away from that minimalist design, going from minimalist to maximalist, which is a lot more color and a lot more of the kitsch. There's even a kitchen trend that's going on where people are looking into a lot of this kitschy stuff for their kitchen design. And one of the things that was selling a lot were these retro ceramic canister sets. And if you look here, you can see that there were 194 that fell into this category that were up for sale right now on eBay. And then of those, 60 have sold. So for me, that's a pretty good sell-through rate. It's not quite 50%, which a lot of people prefer it to be 50% or higher, but it's still a pretty good resale rate as far as I'm concerned. So what we're looking at are kitchen canister sets that look like this. These are mushrooms, a lot of bright colors. This is another mid-century modern canister set. Here's another with the mushrooms that sold for $100 and another with the mushrooms. So many of these are this sort of kitsch style, but then there were others, as you can see, these red and white that kind of remind me of Miami Vice in the 80s. But it says In-N-Out Burger. Okay, cool. Sold for $140. So keep an eye out for these. A lot of mushrooms, a lot of earthenware canister sets. Another thing that I noticed was the rise in cookie jars. So I noticed that first when I was doing a search of recently sold items. I narrowed things down to say kitchen items and then go through, see what's recently sold. And I also noticed on Google Trends, there was something to do with cookie jars. That was a breakout category. I did a bit of research to see if there was some cookie jar TikTok or some trend that was going on in movie, TV show. I couldn't find one, maybe you know, but I really wanted to narrow it down because I did see a lot of just like general cookie jars selling. And the thing that I was trying to find was a pattern of what was selling really well. So again, lots of cookie jars selling, but for me, I want to find the common denominator. And the ones that I really found were selling super duper well were Muppets cookie jars. Others, again, were selling. Do your research on those. There were 125 Muppets cookie jars up for sale and 122 sold. This is in the last 90 days. So for me, that's amazing sell-through rate for something that is a very niche item. So if you've got your Muppets Sesame Street type cookie jars, get them listed. Here you can see these sold within the last couple of days when I compiled this research, it was January 17th, today 18th. So in the last few days, these are some that sold really good prices. I like those prices. This one with Kermit the Frog sold for $199. Here are some others that look like little TV sets that all sold, you know, upwards over $50, well into the hundreds on some of them. And a couple more that sold also still in January. Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster. The next item that I kept finding repeating, at first I thought it was maybe just a Christmas, like, okay, it's a random Christmas thing. They're knee hugger elves. So you may see them when you're out and not realize that they are selling really well. We'll take a look at what they look like here in just a second. But there were 1,800 up for sale, knee hugger elf with that keyword, and over 2,900. So more sold than are up for sale currently using those keywords. Knee hugger elves, what are we looking at here? So these all sold January 17th. They're these vintage pixie elves hugging their knees. It's exactly what it sounds like. And as you can see, there are many different styles, many different, I mean, some of them look older than others, more on the vintage range, and even some of the ceramic ones. So not just the fabrics, but the ceramics. So these were all around the $20 range here, and quite a few more. Again, still, all of these that I've been showing you so far have sold January 17th, which was the day I did the research for this. And the range of them, again, anywhere from $15, and then this one is $72. So if you have knee hugger elves in your stockpile somewhere, go dig them out and get them listed. Don't wait for Christmas. Christmas items sell all year round, and I have a feeling that some people don't view these as Christmas items, but as collectibles. Next up, kind of goes hand in hand with the canister sets, are retro mushroom kitchen items. There is a difference between retro and vintage. However, I think that some people are using retro when they're searching as a keyword to mean kind of like kitschy versus vintage as far as the age, or maybe some people don't realize that retro doesn't necessarily indicate an age or a time frame. So if you've got vintage items that you can also add the keyword retro into, you might go back and look at retooling some of your listing titles, because as I was doing this research, I tried the same search using the word vintage mushroom kitchen, vintage canister sets, and then replaced it with retro, and I'm noticing a lot more selling through using that word retro. And I wouldn't consider this, you know, keyword stuffing, which is a big no-no, but it is a search term, and if it fits your item, then definitely make sure that you're using that, because if it helps your item sell or get found in search, then it's something you want to have in there. Because if people are looking for retro mushroom kitchen items, but yours says vintage mushroom kitchen items, you might not show up in their search, or you might show up on the next page or a few pages over. So retro mushroom kitchen items, 462 items up for sale currently, 146 items sold within the last 90 days. These were all right around this week, you know, January 15th, 16th. We're looking at canisters, trivets, salt and pepper shakers. Then this is a Sears and Roebuck's towel set that sold for, oh no, those are curtains. There were some towels as well. The curtains sold for $139, and the mushroom trivets. I actually saw multiple trivets in my search, and so I thought, oh, that's going to be a thing. So I started narrowing that down at first, and then realized it's not all trivets. It's a lot of them are just mushroom related. So maybe this is a new trend that's coming up in 2024 is the mushroom kitchen. It's back. All right, so here's another, this is, oh, you guys, if you're my age, you probably remember these retro, like they weren't retro at the time, but dustpans, these metal dustpans like this. So mushroom dustpans sold for $35. And then these plaques, mushroom plaques, sold for $16.95. We are now at the item that sold well over 200 of this brand yesterday. It is something that has an amazing sell-through rate. And if you are a hard goods seller, a clothing seller, electronics, what have you, and you're really not into jewelry, if you can remember this one brand, it is something that you can definitely pick up and sell for usually a pretty good profit. It does have a wide range, but it's a brand that you can just remember this one. And if you see it for a good price, pick it up. The brand that I am talking about is Trifari. So I am going to let this video clip run on the side. I know sometimes the scrolling can make people dizzy, but I wanted to show all of the solds. From when I checked, it was like 9:30 last night. There were probably 220 sold at that point of this brand. So Trifari is a vintage jewelry brand. They make everything from earrings to brooches to sets, clip-on earrings, a wide variety. The price range can also be wide, from the $7 to $10 range all the way up into the $400 and $500 range. So if you are able to flip the item over, and they're almost always marked, so they're very easy to identify. It says Trifari on it. Going a little faster here, I was like, where's the top? But all of these, if you can see it, all sold January 17th, which was yesterday. Now, there is Trifari, and then there is also, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. There's also Crown Trifari, which the label will look like this, if I can make it bigger for you. It says Trifari still, but there's a little crown on top. Now, sometimes there will be a hang tag that has a T with a crown on top, and that is also a Crown Trifari. If you are interested, I have a jewelry group on Facebook called Texas Gals Jewelry Lovers. I think there's like 8,000 or 9,000 people in there. And if you have questions about selling jewelry, it's a very safe place to come and ask questions about jewelry you found and helping you identify what you've got if you are a new jewelry seller or experienced. It's a place to go and learn about what you've got and help you to be a more successful jewelry seller. So here we've got Trifari, and it's sorted by used, because generally that's what you're going to find when you're thrifting or garage selling. US only, because that's where I am. And then completed and sold listings. So in the last 90 days, there's well over 7,800 sold. And this is a sampling of the things that sold just yesterday. So a necklace and bracelet set for $179, a brooch of a butterfly, $20. And as you can see with Trifari, there's a wide variety of styles. So you just have to flip it over and see if you see the word Trifari on the back. And the price range is, again, this green leaf set that sold for almost $150. Lots and lots. Bling, enamel, gold tone, silver tone. They have got tons and tons of different varieties of jewelry. So it's really, I can't tell you like, it looks like this or it looks like that, because Trifari is just really prolific, we'll say. And it can sell for a really good price if you've got the right piece. Now this one, the little frog here, that's called a jelly belly. So that's where it's got the stone, cabochon stone for part of it. So jelly bellies are very desirable and collectible. Little kitty cat. I think you get the idea. Here's another with the jelly belly on this leaf. $195 on that one. And a few more here. Birthday ribbon, $262. And here is the mark for you to remember. If you're enjoying videos like these, I'm going to link a playlist right here so that you can see what other kinds of things are selling right now on eBay. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.